Paris is one of the most visited cities in the world, attracting more than 30 million visitors each year. Known as the City of Light, Paris is famous for its grand boulevards, historic landmarks, world-class museums, and unmistakable skyline dominated by the Eiffel Tower. But beyond the major landmarks, the city is also filled with charming neighborhoods, hidden courtyards, historic bridges, and riverside walks. In this guide, we'll explore the key places to visit in Paris, from its most recognizable sites to the areas that give the city its unique character. No visit to Paris is complete without seeing the Eiffel Tower, the city's most recognizable landmark. Completed in 1889 for the World's Fair, it was designed by Gustave Eiffel and originally intended to be temporary. At the time, it was the tallest structure in the world. Standing at 324 meters tall, the tower dominates the skyline and remains the most visited paid monument on Earth. Visitors can take lifts or climb the stairs to several viewing platforms. From the top, the views stretch across Paris, with the Seine River, the Arc de Triomphe, Montmartre, and the Golden Dome of Les Invalides all visible in the distance. At night, the tower sparkles with thousands of lights every hour after sunset, creating one of the most recognizable night scenes in Europe. Nearby, the Champ de Mars Park offers one of the best places to sit and enjoy uninterrupted views of the tower. From above, one landmark stands out across the skyline, a golden dome reflecting the city's military history. This is Les Invalides. The complex was commissioned in 1670 by Louis XIV as a hospital and retirement home for wounded and elderly soldiers. At the center of the complex stands the Dôme des Invalides, completed later in 1706. Its gold-covered dome rises to around 107 meters, making it one of the most recognizable features of the Paris skyline. The dome serves as the final resting place of Napoleon Bonaparte, whose tomb lies directly beneath it in a red quartzite sarcophagus. The design of the tomb allows visitors to look down from above, emphasizing the scale and importance of the monument. Nearby are the tombs of members of his family, along with those of notable French military leaders. Beyond the dome, Les Invalides also houses the Musée de l'Armée, one of the largest military museums in the world. The museum covers a wide span of history, from medieval armor and weaponry to exhibits on both world wars, including uniforms, vehicles, and detailed historical displays. It also houses a few of Napoleon's original belongings, including the famous bicorn hat and the coat he wore during his campaigns across Europe. The site also includes large courtyards lined with historic cannons, giving a clear sense of its original military purpose. Today, Les Invalides remains both an active site for veterans and a major historical attraction. Directly across the river from the Eiffel Tower lies the Place du Trocadéro, an elevated square offering one of the most iconic and unobstructed views of the monument. Directly below the square are the Jardin du Trocadéro, created for the 1937 Universal Exhibition and designed to frame one of the most famous views of the Eiffel Tower. At the center of the gardens is the Warsaw Fountain, where a series of powerful water jets create one of the most recognizable scenes in Paris. The terraces are decorated with sculptures. Among them are the horses and dog, which capture a sense of energy and tension in their powerful forms, and the bull and deer, representing strength and contrast between opposing forces in nature. Nearby stand the monumental figures L'Homme and La Femme, placed on either side of the central basin and designed to represent the human presence within the landscape. The square forms part of the Palais de Chaillot, built for the 1937 World's Fair, which today houses several major museums overlooking the Seine. The Musée de l'Homme focuses on the story of human history and evolution, exploring how societies developed across different regions of the world. Its galleries combine anthropology, archaeology, and scientific research, with exhibits covering early human origins, migration across continents, and the diversity of cultures that have shaped modern civilization. The museum also examines how humans interact with their environment, looking at themes such as climate, biodiversity, and the future of the planet. The Palais de Chaillot also houses the Cité de l'Architecture et du Patrimoine, one of the largest architecture and heritage museums in Europe. Its exhibitions explore the history of French architecture, from the medieval period to the modern day, with large-scale models, full-size casts of historic building details, and reconstructions of important monuments from across the country. Among the highlights are replicas of sections of famous cathedrals and decorative facades, allowing visitors to see architectural features up close that would normally only be visible at a distance. Together with the Musée de l'Homme, they make the Palais de Chaillot not just one of Paris's best viewpoints, but an important cultural center. Following the Seine east, many of Paris's best-known sites line its banks, including the Louvre, Notre-Dame, the Eiffel Tower, and the Musée d'Orsay. In total, 37 bridges cross the river, each with its own history and architectural style. One of the most elegant is Pont Alexandre III, completed in 1900 and known for its ornate design, golden statues, and richly decorated lamp posts that line the bridge. From here there are clear sightlines toward both the Eiffel Tower and Les Invalides, making it one of the most photographed bridges in the city. Walking along the Seine's riverbanks is one of the best ways to experience Paris, particularly in the evening when many of the monuments are illuminated. Boat cruises along the river are also popular, offering a more relaxed way to view the city's landmarks from the water. Following the river east toward the historic center, one of the world's most important museums comes into view, the Louvre Museum. Marked by its iconic glass pyramid entrance designed by I.M. Pei and completed in 1989, the museum blends modern architecture with the historic former royal palace that surrounds it. Originally a fortress and later a residence of French kings, the Louvre officially opened as a public museum in 1793, following the French Revolution, marking a major shift from royal ownership to public access. Today, it is the largest art museum in the world and one of the most visited cultural sites globally, housing more than 35,000 works, spanning from ancient civilizations to the 19th century. Among its most famous pieces is the Mona Lisa, by Leonardo da Vinci, known for its subtle expression and global recognition. Despite its relatively small size, it attracts some of the largest crowds in the museum. Other key highlights include the Winged Victory of Samothrace and the Venus de Milo, a classical Greek sculpture dating back over 2,000 years. The museum is divided into 3 wings, each containing different collections, including Egyptian antiquities, Islamic art, and European paintings. Amongst the museum's most celebrated paintings is Liberty Leading the People by Eugène Delacroix, along with Jacques-Louis David's monumental Coronation of Napoleon, one of the largest works on display in the Louvre. Due to its scale, it is not possible to see everything in a single visit, and most visitors choose to focus on specific sections. Continuing along the Seine to Ile de la Cité, the focus shifts to one of the most historic religious buildings in France, the famous Notre-Dame Cathedral. Construction began in 1163 and continued for almost 2 centuries, making it one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture. The cathedral is especially known for its graceful flying buttresses, supporting the soaring walls from the outside. Across the facade, intricate stone carvings depict saints, biblical figures, and centuries of craftsmanship. Inside, stained glass windows fill the interior with shifting light in deep reds and blues. And high along the roofline, the famous gargoyles stand watch silently over the city of Paris. In April 2019, a major fire destroyed much of the roof and the cathedral's famous spire, prompting a large-scale international restoration effort involving hundreds of specialists working to rebuild the structure using traditional techniques. After 5 years of reconstruction, Notre-Dame reopened to the public in December 2024, bringing one of Paris's most important historic landmarks back to life. Visitors can now once again step inside to experience its vast interior, where the restored nave rises beneath soaring Gothic arches and the famous rose windows, dating back to the 13th century, that fill the space with colored light. Surrounding the choir, an intricately carved stone screen from the 14th century tells scenes from the life of Christ, forming one of the cathedral's finest surviving examples of medieval sculpture. The cathedral also preserves important religious relics, including the crown of thorns, believed to have been worn by Jesus during the crucifixion. The square in front of the cathedral also marks Point Zero, the point from which all road distances in France are measured. Nearby stands Sainte-Chapelle, one of Paris's finest Gothic chapels, built in the 13th century by King Louis IX. The upper chapel is lined with 15 stained glass windows, about 15 meters high, depicting over 1,000 biblical scenes. These windows are designed to maximize light with minimal stone support, creating a sense of height and openness typical of Gothic architecture. Today, Sainte-Chapelle remains one of the finest surviving examples of medieval Gothic design and is considered a key historical site within central Paris. Crossing to the left bank, the atmosphere shifts toward one of the oldest and most academic areas of the city, the Latin Quarter. Its name reflects the medieval use of Latin in local universities. At its center stands the Sorbonne, founded in the 13th century, where Marie Curie studied and taught. Nearby, the Pantheon stands as one of the most important historic buildings in the Latin Quarter. Originally built in the 18th century as a church dedicated to Sainte Geneviève, the patron saint of Paris, it was later transformed into a secular mausoleum during the French Revolution. Today, the Pantheon serves as the final resting place for many of France's most influential figures, including Marie Curie, the pioneering scientist who became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the only person awarded Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, whose writings helped shape modern political thought and inspired the ideals behind the French Revolution. And Victor Hugo, one of France's greatest authors, best known for classics such as Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre-Dame. Inside, the vast interior includes a central nave and the famous Foucault pendulum, first demonstrated by French physicist Léon Foucault in 1851, to show that the Earth rotates. Not far from the historic center, another district offers a different perspective, combining history with a more modern atmosphere. This is Le Marais, one of the best-preserved areas of Old Paris. The neighborhood is known for its narrow streets, historic townhouses, and small boutiques and cafes that reflect the character of the city, before the wide boulevards of the 19th century transformed much of Paris. At its center lies Place des Vosges, one of the oldest planned squares in the city. Built in the early 17th century, it is surrounded by symmetrical red brick buildings and elegant arcades that create one of the most balanced architectural spaces in Paris. The area is also home to the Musée Picasso, located inside the 17th century Hôtel Salé, one of the grandest historic mansions in Le Marais. The museum holds one of the world's largest collections of works by Pablo Picasso, covering every stage of his career, from early sketches and paintings to sculptures, ceramics, and personal archives. Together, these works provide a rare insight into how his artistic style evolved over time and helped shape modern art in the 20th century. Today, Le Marais combines historic architecture with a lively contemporary atmosphere and is especially known as the center of Paris's LGBTQ community, with galleries, independent shops, and nightlife that add to the district's distinctive character. Moving south toward the left bank once again, the pace slows as the city opens into one of its most formal green spaces, the Luxembourg Gardens. Created in 1612 for Marie de Medici, widow of King Henry IV, they were inspired by the gardens of Florence. Today, the park covers 25 hectares and surrounds the Luxembourg Palace, home to the French Senate. The gardens are laid out in a traditional French style, with tree-lined paths, classical statues, and carefully maintained flower beds, as well as open lawns and quiet corners where Parisians come to relax. At the center is the Grand Basin, where visitors often relax beside the water, while children sail small model boats. Luxembourg Gardens are popular with both locals and visitors, offering a quiet place to walk, read, or simply take a break from the busy streets of the city. Just across the Seine, directly facing the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay presents a different perspective on art. The museum is housed inside a former railway station, originally built for the 1900 World's Fair and later transformed into a museum in 1986. Today, it contains one of the most important collections of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist art in the world, including Pierre-Auguste Renoir's Bal du Moulin de la Galette, capturing the lively atmosphere of Parisian social life. Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night over the Rhône, with its reflections of gaslight shimmering across the river at night, and Claude Monet's Water Lilies, part of his famous series exploring changing light and reflections on water. The building itself is a key feature, with its large central hall, arched iron structure, and the iconic clock overlooking the Seine, which has become one of the most recognizable viewpoints inside the museum. Compared to the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay is smaller and more focused, making it easier to explore in a single visit while still offering a comprehensive view of 19th-century art. Moving west through the city, one of Paris's most recognizable monuments comes into view. The Arc de Triomphe stands at the center of Place Charles de Gaulle, where 12 avenues meet. It was commissioned in 1806 by Napoleon Bonaparte to honor those who fought and died during the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. The monument is richly decorated with sculpted reliefs and inscriptions listing the names of 660 French generals and military leaders, with those killed in action marked by an underline, alongside the names of 128 battles from the same campaigns. Beneath the arch lies the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where an eternal flame commemorates those lost in World War I. Each evening at 6:30 p.m., the flame is ceremonially rekindled, continuing a tradition begun in 1923. Visitors can climb to the top of the monument, where a spacious rooftop viewing platform provides 360-degree panoramic views of Paris and one of the best views down the Champs-Élysées, one of the most famous avenues in the world. One level below the terrace, on the mezzanine level, a small museum presents exhibits, exploring the monument's construction, history, sculptural art, and cultural significance. From the grand avenues of Western Paris, the focus shifts east toward one of the city's great cultural landmarks. The Palais Garnier is one of the most elaborate and recognizable buildings in Paris, located in the city's 9th arrondissement. It was completed in 1875 during the reign of Napoleon III and designed by architect Charles Garnier as part of a major redevelopment of the city. Inside, the Opera House features a grand staircase, richly decorated halls, and an auditorium designed in a traditional horseshoe shape, typical of 19th-century theaters. The ceiling of the auditorium was later repainted in 1964 by artist Marc Chagall, adding a modern contrast to the historic interior. The building also became widely known as the setting for the novel The Phantom of the Opera, inspired by real features of the Opera House, including an underground reservoir. Today, the Palais Garnier continues to host performances and remains one of the most important cultural landmarks in Paris, as well as a popular destination for visitors. Just a short walk through the surrounding streets, a lesser-known viewpoint offers one of the best free panoramas in the city. The Galeries Lafayette is a historic department store, first opened in the late 19th century, and is one of the most famous shopping destinations in Paris. The building itself is known for its architecture, particularly the large stained glass dome that rises to a height of 43 meters above the central hall. At the top, a rooftop terrace provides wide views across the city's rooftops, with landmarks such as the Eiffel Tower and Montmartre visible in the distance. From here, the city rises toward its highest natural point, where the atmosphere changes noticeably. At the top of the hill lies Montmartre, a historic district that has retained much of its village-like character, despite being part of a major capital city. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Montmartre became a center for artists, attracting figures such as Picasso, Van Gogh, and Toulouse-Lautrec, who lived and worked here. At the summit stands the Basilique du Sacré-Cœur, built between 1875 and 1914. Constructed from distinctive white travertine stone that stays bright over time, its design blends Romanesque and Byzantine influences, with a large central dome and smaller surrounding domes visible from across the city. Inside, the church features one of the largest mosaics in the world, covering the apse above the altar. High vaulted ceilings, soft natural light, and a grand pipe organ add to the calm and reflective atmosphere inside. The steps leading up to Sacré-Cœur provide one of the widest panoramic views across Paris, stretching from the city center to the distant skyline. Nearby, the square of Place du Tertre continues the area's artistic tradition, where painters display their work and create portraits for visitors. The surrounding streets are lined with cafes, small galleries, and narrow alleyways, contributing to the district's distinct atmosphere. Today, Montmartre remains one of the most visited areas in Paris, combining its artistic history with some of the best views in the city. Located around 20 kilometers southwest of Paris, the Palace of Versailles is one of the most elaborate royal residences ever built and is easily accessible from the city by train in around 45 minutes to an hour. Originally a hunting lodge for Louis XIII, it was transformed into a grand palace by his son, Louis XIV, in the late 17th century. In 1682, the king moved the royal court to Versailles, making it the center of political power in France. One of its most famous rooms is the Hall of Mirrors, a long gallery lined with 357 mirrors, chandeliers, and arched windows overlooking the gardens. The room was used for ceremonies and later became the location where the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919, ending World War I. Beyond the Hall of Mirrors, visitors can also explore the King's Grand Apartments, a series of richly decorated ceremonial rooms used for official receptions and court events. Each salon was dedicated to a different classical deity, with painted ceilings, marble finishes, and gilded detailing designed to reinforce the authority of Louis XIV. At the center of the palace lies the king's bedchamber, where Louis XIV held the daily rising and retiring ceremonies that turned even the act of waking and sleeping into public displays of royal authority. Nearby are the Queen's apartments, where several queens of France lived, including Marie Antoinette. These rooms were both ceremonial and private spaces, and it was here that royal births traditionally took place in public view, following court custom of the time. Visitors can also see the Royal Opera House, one of the finest surviving court theaters in Europe. Built during the reign of Louis XV, it was used for concerts, celebrations, and royal events, including festivities held to mark the marriage of the future Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Beyond the palace, the formal gardens extend across hundreds of hectares, designed with strict geometric patterns, fountains, and tree-lined avenues. The gardens were created by landscape architect André Lenotre and were intended to demonstrate order and control over nature. Versailles remained the royal residence until the French Revolution in 1789, when the monarchy was forced to return to Paris. Today, it is one of the most visited historical sites in France and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Returning to the city at night, Paris takes on a different character, with many of its landmarks illuminated against the skyline. The Eiffel Tower sparkles every hour after sunset, its thousands of lights shimmering across the skyline, while the bridges along the Seine River are beautifully illuminated, their reflections stretching and dancing across the water below. Monuments such as the Louvre, Notre-Dame, and the Arc de Triomphe are also illuminated, highlighting architectural details that are less visible during the day. Walking along the riverbanks or through the city streets in the evening offers a quieter and more atmospheric way to experience Paris. Paris is a city that combines history, architecture, and culture within a compact and walkable setting. From iconic landmarks to hidden corners, it offers something new to discover at every turn. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to like and subscribe to Infinite Horizons, and join us as we explore more destinations around the world.